Afternoon, Toastmasters. I'd like to start my speech by reading a quote from Marcus Aurelius I, that I saw before and thought really just kind of ties in with this story. So, the art of living is more like wrestling than dancing, insofar as it stands ready against the accidental and the unforeseen, and is not apt to fall. I really think that it's kind of true. Like, you don't dance through life. If you're dancing through life, you're not gonna be dancing too long because life's gonna knock you on your butt and keep you there. But as for wrestling, if you're here for my icebreaker speech, that really was my life in high school. Like, didn't really branch out too much until after I left, but while I was there, wrestling really was why I got out of bed in the morning, usually at like 5 in the morning to go lift. But I'm not very talkative, but wrestling was kind of like my singing, because I hate singing. My voice is terrible, and it's just not fun for me. But wrestling, actions speak louder than words, and when I got on the mat, is really just like composing, except you're twisting a guy's arm behind his back and trying to pin him on the ground. But I digress. So I just kind of want to share with you a story of kind of like my crowning moment in my wrestling career. So it was singing, it'd be like my great symphony or some other, so like, I don't know, a ballad. But so my senior year, there's this tournament called the Beast of the East tournament. It's held in the University of Delaware, and it's a very tough tournament. Kim knows what I'm talking about. And in this tournament, he was the number 2 seed, was my rival. His name was AJ Viscarando. And I had been wrestling this kid for pretty much my whole high school career. We would meet at different tournaments, and every time he just beat me. But the thing about him was he was lazy. Like, he had just so much raw talent, like, I'll give him that. But he would literally just do the minimum amount required to win. And that infuriated me because I had worked so hard to get where I was. So the match before, I had almost beat him. I was only about 2 points behind. So we go in, Beast of the East, and I'm in the zone. Like, this is my element. I go through first couple matches, just pin the guys within like the first period. Boom, nothing. And then I wrestled the number 1 seed, and this kid, he was like a freshman, but he was just like a freak of nature, and he just, I think he may have lost like once by the time like I graduated, and he was like a sophomore, and he was like the national champion, but super nice guy. So yeah, and then I wrestled a very good match against him. So even though I was on fire the whole tournament, even though I lost, I still wrestled a good match. I didn't get pinned. This is only like 4-0. So continue on. So it's the finals for 3rd place. And like I said, this guy's lazy. But another thing that really just infuriated me, and especially my parents, was in wrestling, whenever you're hurt, you do this to let the referee know that you're hurt, and he stops the match. Well, if he was ever like losing or getting tired, he would just like throw this up and get like a free couple of like minutes rest before he had to continue, and just pissed me off so much. So we're going to the match, and it's just like an indescribable feeling because my whole team was there because they all knew how much I hated this guy. And during the match, you could literally hear my parents, because this is a big stadium. And like, I was on like a mat, so say this is like a stadium here, I was on a mat over here. My parents were like all the way over here, and you could literally hear them screaming from all the way over here just because they were so excited that I was finally beating this guy. And then going through the match, and I finally scored a takedown to get ahead, and then out comes a whirly bird, as my dad would say, except he was screaming it with a lot more obscenities. And eventually time ran out, and it was just this great moment of elation, just because I had finally outworked this guy who just didn't put in the time. He just had all the talent, and I kind of just got up and yelled at my team because I was just so happy. And I looked around, and I could literally see my parents jumping up and down like at the top of the stands. So I just like pointed at them. They were just freaking out, and like the people next to them are just looking like, what the hell is wrong with these people? Like, how'd they get out of the freaking crazy house? But like, I don't wrestle anymore, at least not for like college like I did as a freshman. But like that's really one of like the high points that I like to look back to remind me like why wrestling was such a great part of my life. So, thank you.